Year 12, it's Mr. Azapadi with another video about Buddhism. We're on the last unit for the Year 12 section of the Buddhism course. And this unit is about samsara. So we'll talk more about the whole unit in a bit, but generally it's about the sort of the beliefs that are part of the wheel of life. So that's why the wheel of life's there. So, you know, samsara is the thing that all Buddhists are stuck in. But when we talk about beliefs about samsara, we're talking about rebirth, karma, something called dependent origination, which we're going to look at later. But those basic ideas, karma and rebirth, and how karma and rebirth work. And yeah, then this thing that called dependent origination, and like I say, we'll look at what that is. Today we're going to look at karma, and really this is generally just an overview of important issues in the Buddhist teaching of karma and what they mean. So the things I want you to do is watch the video, have the slides in front of you. If you can print them off, great, because you might want to annotate once in a while. In fact, there are a few places where you need to make some notes based on the video. And then at the end, there's a task to do on some paper where it's kind of looking at different questions. There's nothing directly on an essay in this. It's just information that you need to know, really. Okay, I put some questions. So if we're doing the lesson in the class, I'd just ask you these questions. What decides whether an action brings merit or demerit? Merit is the opposite of, merit is good and demerit is bad. So the answer there should be intentions. That good intent, the Buddha says, O monks, is intention that I call karma. So it's the intentions behind an action that make it a good or bad action in terms of the merit or the demerit that you get. What is the word for the form of Buddhism that focuses on karmic merit making? That is Kammatic Buddhism, that word created by Melford Spiro. Always remember, when you talk about Melford Spiro, Kammatic Buddhism is not a real form of Buddhism. There's no one who says, I am the head of Kammatic Buddhism. It's a word he has used to explain what he thinks is the strange thing about Buddhism, is that most people, in his belief, don't really want to get to nirvana. They want to get a good rebirth. So he's created that term, Kammatic Buddhism. But it is in many ways a useful term to understand why lots of people aren't aiming for nirvana. Which type of actions bring the most merit? Why do they bring the most merit? Well, giving to monks is often seen as the action that brings the most merit, and that is a canonical Buddhist teaching. Some people say, oh, that's not a when I say canonical, I mean it's in the Pali Canon. So some people would try to claim that, oh, that's not real Buddhism. And why do they claim it's not real Buddhism? Well, first of all, let's answer the question. Giving to monks brings the most merit because monks are what's called a field of merit. That means an act like planted in that field will grow more merit than any other field. That's not really a great explanation of why. Apparently it just seems to be the case that according to Buddhism it brings more merit. Now, why do people sometimes think that that's not real Buddhism? I think because it seems to go directly against the teaching of intention, right? It shouldn't be, if it's intention that the Buddha calls karma, then it should be the thought behind your action, not the sort of action you do that brings good karma. But apparently, giving to monks brings more merit than other kinds of merit making. So that's a bit of a contradiction at the heart of Buddhism. And yes, some scholars have argued that maybe that teaching came into the religion later, but it's definitely wrong to say that teaching isn't something factually found within what we have of the earliest teachings of Buddhism. Yes, maybe we know that the Pali Canon was actually written over a long period of time. It wasn't all written by the Buddha, so maybe it could have been an extra, could have been something created after the time of the Buddha. But it's wrong to say that it's not a teaching we find in the Pali Canon, because it is in the Pali Canon. Merit making is bad because it stops you from getting to nirvana. That is false. That is a belief that you find in Jainism, that they don't use the word nirvana, but they use I can't remember what the word is. They use, we might call it liberation or something like that. Same idea, getting out of samsara. They believe that good and bad karma stop you from getting to liberation. Buddhism does not believe that's the case. So it's particularly the idea that merit making is bad for you if you want to get to nirvana. Like if you want to get to nirvana, you've got to give up merit making. That is not a Buddhist belief, and we'll look at that as we go through. So like I say, have the slides in front of you, and we're just going to go through them. I'll go through them fairly quick, but there's one or two where you need to add things. So our first section, what is karma? So the law of karma, or karma, That the first one with the double M is the Pali spelling, and the one with the R is the Sanskrit spelling. It teaches that intentional, moral or immoral actions have consequences for our future, either in this life or in our future lives. Karma is a natural law, like the law of gravity, according to Buddhism. That means that there is no God who is rewarding or punishing you. In Buddhism, when you do something bad and you get a bad result, no one is causing that punishment apart from yourself. It's like a natural law of the universe. If you do bad, bad things happen to you. If you do good, good things happen to you. But there is no God who is rewarding you. A bit about the terminology. Karma, the word, means action. So your karma is the actions you have done, not the consequences. The result of our actions is called the vipaka, which means ripening, or phala, which means fruit. Often the words are used merit and demerit to say good and bad fruit or results. Vipaka and phala, they're both coming from a kind of agricultural kind of metaphor. You plant something and it ripens, or you plant the tree and the fruit grows. Because of this, actions are sometimes referred to as seeds. You plant the seed of the action and it grows the fruit of the result. So that's just some words to use along the way. In Buddhism, it's the intentions behind our actions that lead to positive or negative fruits or results. Intentions of greed, hatred, and delusion lead to positive actions. Intentions of generosity, loving kindness, and wisdom. Intentions of greed, hatred, and delusion, I don't know what I'm doing here, lead to negative results, and intentions of generosity, loving kindness, and wisdom lead to positive results. So that's pretty straightforward. What religion does this make Buddhism different from? Well, it makes it different from Brahmanism. We should remember that from Brahmanism, which says that it links karma to your ritual actions and your svadharma. There's not an idea of it being about your intentions. It's about what you do and doing the duty that is about the religious and worldly duties that are part of your varna. Okay, so what does your karma do? Well, your karma determines your future rebirth, particularly the realm that you're born into. So the realm that you're born into, of the 6 realms, is determined by your karma. Actions also influence your personality. So a person who is always greedy and never satisfied with what they have may be reborn as a hungry ghost. However, they will also have the idea there in Buddhism is that in a way you get reborn as what you have become in your life. So if you've become a greedy person, you're almost already a hungry ghost before you die. If you become someone who doesn't think and just acts by their instincts, you've almost become an animal. That's the idea. That if you've become a very calm and relaxed and nice person, then you've become like a god before you die. So that's interesting how that link is there, and those are the 2 things that are often said to be determined by your past rebirth, by your past actions. You know that your rebirth that you're in now, the realm you're in, is due to your karma and your basic personality type. So that could be. So if you're a human, now humans is always said to be a mix of personalities. So if you're a human, you're always angry, that's probably due to past karma. If you're a human, you're always relaxed and happy, that's probably due to past karma. So that's something that they say is determined by karma. But karma is not the only cause in the world, according to Buddhism. In the Pali Canon, the Buddha also mentions other causes of things in the world. For example, a disease may be caused due to karma, but it also may have a natural cause. We might call that natural cause viruses or germs or whatever it is that causes the disease. The Buddha, of course, wasn't born in a time when they knew about those scientific things, but the idea was still there that it's not just karma that causes things. Other things are caused by. There are other causes in the world too. If you were ill, it's not guaranteed that illness could be due to your karma, because it causes lots of things, karma, not just the realm you were born into. But the point is, we don't know if you got ill, we don't know if that illness is caused by karma or if it's caused by a natural thing like germs. You just have to wait and see. If you try and treat the illness in the normal way that you could and it doesn't get better, then maybe it's caused by karma. In addition, our intentional actions in this life are not determined by karma. We have free will in our present life, which will enable us to affect our present life and our future karma. So an example would be the life of the Buddha, right? The life of the Buddha was born with certain karma that meant he would become one of two things, a great religious leader or a great king. Now, he used his free will to become a great religious leader. So within our lives, there is free will. And that makes complete sense, right? Because actually, the law of karma relies on it. You couldn't have everything caused by your past life's karma, because then if the choices you make in this life were determined by past karma, then you couldn't make any karma for your next life. So certain things are caused by karma, but there are other causes of things, and we have free will. Buddhism isn't a form of fatalism that just says everything in life is fixed and you can't do anything about it. I think it was the Ajivikas, they believed in that. Buddhism doesn't believe in that. Ultimately, Buddhism teaches that karma is achintya. That means it's possible for ordinary minds to completely understand. We can know the basics of how karma works, but how each individual karma works in practice is beyond the minds of unenlightened people. We do not know which events in our life are caused by karma and which have other causes. In addition, we do not know when the consequences for our present actions will take place. In this life, so when we do something good or bad, it could bring a consequence in this life, in our next life, or in another future rebirth. So lots of things are quite unclear when it comes to karma. Now, the Buddha is supposed to have been able to see, one of the things that happened when he was enlightened was he gained a knowledge first of his own, how his own karma had worked and rebirth had worked throughout his many past lives, and then of how so he could see everybody's karma and their rebirths and how karma had influenced their next rebirths. But we cannot know that beyond some very specific things. The only things we can know for definite is our personality, our realm of rebirth were determined by past karma. The rest, we can't be sure. Because we do not know which events are caused by karma, we should not simply accept bad things in life as our fate. E.g., if someone becomes ill, we should not accept the illness. We should go to the doctors and try to get better. Only if we try everything and the disease does not go away can we assume it's caused by karma. I think I said that before. Okay, let's have a look at some Buddhist teachings which seem, at first sight, to go against the teaching of karma. So, first one is transferring merit. We looked at this in GCSE when we looked at funerals, Buddhist funerals. So in many forms of Buddhism, a popular ritual is the transference of merit to the dead. People will perform a positive action, such as feeding monks, and then perform a ritual to dedicate the karmic merit from the action to the deceased friend or relative. The hope is that the merit they receive will help them to have a better life in their future rebirth. So in a typical Theravada tradition to do that is you feed the monks, so you've made karma, and then you perform some kind of chanting, Pali chanting, while you pour water into a bowl. The water overflows from the bowl, and the chanting says something like, just as this water overflows from this bowl, may my karma overflow to the person who's died. Now, why might some people think this goes against the teaching of karma? It'd be good to make some notes on here. Well, the problem is that karma is about your own intentional actions. So if I do something good, I get good karma. You can't really give it away. For someone else to get karma, that person should have done some good karma, done something good themselves. Whereas here they haven't. They've just been given the karma. That doesn't seem to coincide with what the Buddha taught. You can't give karma away, or can't give merit away. So this is poses a problem for Buddhists. They do this thing called transferring merit, but you shouldn't really be able to give people your karma. And in any case, in the Theravada tradition, Tibetan Buddhism says there's a delay between rebirth, death, and your next rebirth. But the Theravada tradition says it happens straight away. So, say if this funeral thing is taking place like a week or so after the person has died, well, they've already been reborn. So how can you help them? Well, this is how they solve the problem. The official teaching behind this practice is that people are not actually giving merit to someone else. According to this view, the ritual only works if the person has died, is now in a state in which they are aware of the ritual. Usually this means a kind of hungry ghost who's living here on earth. So hungry ghosts are supposed to be living here on earth. They can see what we're doing. When they see the good action and the ritual, the dead person basically is aware of what's going on. So if the dead person sees that someone is doing a good action, like feeding monks, and then they perform this ritual, they will form the wish in their mind to join in. Oh, I wish I could give to monks. I wish I could be generous in that way. This thought itself generates karmic merit, because intentions are more important than actions when it comes to understanding karma. So what you're doing is you're not giving someone karma, but according to the official teaching, you are giving people an opportunity to rejoice in the merit that you're making. So in other words, you're making merit by rejoicing in it. That says approving of what you're doing and wishing they could participate. That person makes some merit. So it won't give them better rebirth straight away, but in the next rebirth after being a hungry ghost, it may benefit them to have made that merit they've made then, if that makes sense. Okay, B, Paritta chanting. This is something we've talked about, right? Paritta chanting. So this is when they chant parts of the Pali Canon. So that's what Paritta chanting is. There are certain parts of the Pali Canon, like the Ratana Sutta or the Karaniya Metta Sutta, that are chanted, usually by Buddhist monks, and it's said to bring you certain kinds of benefits. This is what Melvin Sparrow called apotropaic Buddhism, his third kind of Buddhism. Apotropaic Buddhism is Buddhism which tries to bring you benefits here and now, not in the next life, not nirvana, but like benefits, luck, or protection here and now. So it's protection against things like snake bites and attacks and all these kind of things. Now, how could it be seen as going against the teaching of karma? Well, some people have argued that, oh, well, it's going against karma because it's kind of saying you can, if it's your karma to get a certain thing, a bad result, you can get over that karma by doing this magical practice called Paritta chanting. So say if it's your karma, if you've done something bad in your previous life and you're going to be bitten by a snake, and then you chant the Paritta and it stops you from being bitten by a snake, isn't that going against the law of karma? Well, actually, and I want you to, if you can fill the notes in on your slides here or make some notes to answer these questions, you should do that. Actually, it doesn't go against the teaching of karma because, like we said, we don't know what in our life is caused by karma. So Buddhism doesn't say that you shouldn't take any steps to get over the problems in your life. No, Buddhism is all for going to see a doctor, or I don't know, say if your house is going to be flooded, you live near a river and it's getting flooded, you don't just accept that that's a result of karma. You put sandbags down and try to stop it from getting flooded. All that kind of stuff you should do. So Buddhism does say that it's fine to take steps to prevent bad stuff happening to you. Now, if that bad stuff is your karma, then it's going to happen to you anyway. So if it's karma that your house is going to get flooded, then it doesn't matter how many protections you put down, you'll get flooded. But the point is, you don't know whether it's karma or not. So in this situation, if you're going through a wood that's full of snakes and you chant Paritta to stop you getting bitten by the snake, the point is you don't know whether it was your karma to be bitten by a snake or not. It might have been that you were going to be bitten by a snake, but not due to karma, just through chance or luck and help, and the Paritta could stop that. If it was your karma to get bitten by the snake, even the Paritta probably couldn't stop it. You would get bitten. Hope that makes sense. Okay, merit making. Now, many or most Buddhists around the world dedicate most of their religious life to making merit and give little attention to meditation or nirvana. So a lot of Buddhist activities are concerned with making merit. Now, what did Melvin Sparrow call this kind of Buddhism? You need to write on here. Should know, Kammatic Buddhism. Usually merit making is linked to given to monks because they are seen as a field of merit. Now, this idea is found in the Pali Canon, but it's often argued that it goes against Buddhist teachings about karma. Why does it go against it? Well, I think we can identify two reasons. One, the idea of monks as a field of merit seems to go against the teaching that karma is caused by intention. That's a clear conflict. Secondly, some people would say the very idea of merit making goes against the Buddhist teaching of intention because you're supposed to get good karma by doing actions that are motivated by positive intentions. But if you're doing a good action just to get merit, aren't you being motivated by selfishness there, by craving, and therefore shouldn't you get bad karma from it? So those are some interesting things. Now, what could a Buddhist say to this criticism? Well, I think the first one, the field of merit thing, like why is giving to monks better than other forms of good action? There's not really much of an action Buddhists could say, apart from that they could say, look, yes, karma is about intention, but at the same time, it is true that giving to monks brings better, more karma than other kinds of things. So they just have to say that actually it's about intention, but also there's this other thing that determines it, and that is in the Pali Canon. To the other one, this idea that, the idea of going out to make merit is a bad thing. It actually doesn't work because you've got bad intentions. I think Buddhists would probably say in response, and there's probably a lot of justification in this, they would say, actually, when someone makes merit, it's quite a complicated thing that they're doing. Yes, partly when they give to monks, they want to make merit, but part of them is also just giving because they admire monks and they want to help monks, and they're doing it out of generosity. So what they might say is, and also for Buddhists, thinking about making merit is not seen as terribly selfish. It's seen as a good thing, because if you get a good rebirth, then you'll be in a better position to help other people, maybe get to nirvana one day, and all those kinds of things. So firstly, making merit is not seen as like a really selfish thing. It's seen as something that you're helping yourself, and in doing so, you're helping everyone by helping yourself. Secondly, I don't think in practice people go to make merit just with merit on their mind. They also have a lot of positive reasons to give, linked to wanting to support monks and wanting to make them happy. Okay, some Buddhists who follow Nibbanic merit Buddhism argue that focusing on merit making is going against the true teachings of Buddhism. So you do get that. If you meet people who are really focused on nirvana and want to get to nirvana, they might say, look, Buddhism focused on merit making is not a good thing, because the Buddha wanted us to get to nirvana. However, in the Pali Canon, the Buddha does recommend and praise merit making. He never says it's bad. Some question how doing actions deliberately to bring oneself a good rebirth can really generate merit. This is what I've talked about. Surely these actions are motivated by an intention of greed. However, Damien Keown, when he talks about this, he's a famous scholar of Buddhism, points out that merit making usually involves a mixture of motivations. While the desire for a good rebirth is present, it will be accompanied by feelings of generosity and admiration for the monks that one is feeding. Okay, I think I already talked about that already, but there we go. Okay, next section. What is the relationship between karma and nirvana? So this is something we talked about right at the beginning. We're going to go into more detail. So Melford Spiro's division between Kammatic and Nibbanic Buddhism can make it appear that there is a complete divide between making merit and reaching nirvana. He basically says you're either a Buddhist who wants a good rebirth, or you're a Buddhist who wants to get to nirvana, and they seem different. And in some descriptions of Buddhism, it can give the impression that merit hinders people on the path to nirvana by keeping them trapped in samsara. It's like, well, you're not going to get to nirvana because you've made too much merit. You're going to get reborn in the God realm. However, while this idea was present in some ancient Indian traditions, it's not what the Buddha taught. And the Indian tradition that really it's present in is Jainism. I think I said that before. In Jainism, karma sticks to your soul, your jiva, and stops you from getting liberation, getting free from samsara. But that's not what the Buddha taught. So let's have a look at what the Buddha taught. There's three things you could say from a Buddhist point of view, and you need to add some notes here in response to this idea to show that actually merit making does not stop you from getting nirvana. Firstly, actions which bring merit are motivated by loving kindness, generosity, and wisdom. So those are actually the opposite of the three poisons: greed, hatred, and ignorance or delusion. So if actions which bring merit are actions that are motivated by the opposites of the three poisons, then actually by making merit and getting to nirvana actually in some ways go hand in hand, because the whole way in which you get to nirvana is by getting rid from your mind of greed, hatred, and ignorance. And by practicing actions which go against greed, hatred, and ignorance, by practicing loving kindness and generosity and wisdom, you are doing two things at once. One, you're weakening the hatred and greed and delusion in your mind, helping you get to nirvana. And secondly, you're making merit. So in that way, making merit and getting to nirvana actually go hand in hand. Secondly, karmic merit is useful when people are trying to reach nirvana. So think of this situation. If you are trying to get to nirvana, but you don't quite get there in this life, maybe you make a lot of progress, you become a great meditator and so on and so on, but you don't quite get to nirvana in this life, then you need to have made some merit in your life because you need to get a good rebirth for your next life. The idea being, if you want to continue the path to nirvana in your next life, well, you need to have a reasonably good rebirth in order to continue the path to nirvana. If you get reborn in a not very nice place, into a situation of terrible poverty, or into one of the lower realms, then then you're not going to be able to practice meditation, because you need a certain level of comfort and stability to really practice the Eightfold Path and meditation and stuff like that. So now, most Buddhists would say if you spent your whole life meditating and trying to get to nirvana, you're probably not going to have you're going to have made good merit just through doing that, and you're not going to likely to go into a lower rebirth. But it does show that some merit is definitely useful for the path to nirvana, to make sure you're getting. Lastly, when we looked at the Eightfold Path, we saw that Damien Keown talked about this, tried to criticize this idea that sometimes when people interpret Buddhism, they have this idea that good actions, and that's morally good actions, so the sort of actions that would make merit, are kind of abandoned when you get to the higher stages of the path. If you remember, we looked at that idea that some people saw the Eightfold Path as a path where you do the ethics bit, but then that drops away, and then it's only really the meditation and wisdom bit that becomes important at the end. But Damien Keown shows pretty convincingly that actually in Buddhism, you don't forget about moral actions as you get towards being enlightened. They become really important, and you actually perfect moral actions. If that's true, then that means that a person who's near to enlightenment will be doing lots of good actions, and therefore will be making lots of good karma. The point, I suppose, that I'm trying to make here is that, say if you had lots and lots and lots of karmic merits, millions and millions of, points of karmic merit, however you measure it, and then you're about to reach nirvana, according to Buddhism, it doesn't matter. Once you get to nirvana, that's it. It doesn't matter about all that karmic merit. It's not like you have to get rid of that karmic merit before you get to nirvana. When you get to nirvana, everything just starts. All that merit just goes. You don't need it anymore. So just to kind of come back on this, though, many Buddhists would agree that people who think too much about their future benefits when making merit are unlikely to reach nirvana quickly, as they have clearly not got rid of all their greed. So there could be a problem with making merit, in the sense that if you are focused only on making merit and you're thinking all the time about getting a good rebirth, well, that would be a problem. So there is that you could see a situation in which making merit and getting to nirvana are in conflict. However, for Buddhists, the solution to this problem is not to stop making merit, but to change the attitude you have when you're making merit. Buddhists would never say, "Oh, stop giving to monks, stop making donations to temples, just meditate instead." No, the idea is, you keep on making merit, but you keep on doing merit-making activities, but you perhaps just don't think so much or make it your goal to make all this merit and to get a great rebirth. Okay, next section, secular Buddhism and karma. Many secular Buddhists today do not believe in future lives or in the idea of karmic merit affecting future events in their lives. They reinterpret the teaching of karma in a psychological way. In particular, they focus on the idea that our actions mould our personality. Therefore, someone who's violent will develop a hateful personality and will suffer because of this. Someone who is greedy will not learn to be happy with what they have, and so they will suffer. On the other hand, someone who is generous and kind will have a mind that is at peace. So secular Buddhists kind of reinterpret the teaching of karma in a way that doesn't require belief in future lives or in kind of something good or bad happening to you in a supernatural way. It's more like a natural process of the mind. If you're greedy, you're going to be more unhappy. If you're hateful, you're going to be more unhappy. If you're generous and kind, you're going to be happier. Therefore, karma for secular Buddhism is about the effects that our actions have on our own minds, not about a magical process through which our actions affect the things that happen to us later in life or in our next life. Okay, so we've done the slides. Now, what I want you to do is, for these next three things, we're going to put three headings, and I'm going to see if you can write those headings down, put the table in underneath, and just give me some reasons to agree or disagree. I want you to, for each one, we're going to do it 3 times. So for each one, I want you to write the question, put the table, pause the video, and just see what you can put down, and then I'll go through my what I've put down. So the law of karma means that our future lives are determined by our actions in this life. Discuss. So you've got to give reasons to agree or disagree. So pause the video, write it up, have a go, and then unpause. Okay, let's go through what I've put on this one if you've unpaused. Reason to agree. Well, some things in our life are fixed by past karma. The realm of rebirth and our basic personality are definitely caused by past karma. By the way, I should say in the title there, the word determined means fixed. If something determines something, it means it completely fixes it. It means it is the only influence on that thing. Reasons to disagree. Well, there are other causes. Not everything is caused by karma, according to the Buddha. How karma works is a chintir. It's beyond our understanding, so we don't know exactly what's caused by karma. We have free will. The choices we make in our future life will not be determined by our past karma. Also, it says the law of karma means that our future lives are determined by our actions in this life. Well, technically, it's our intentions, not our actions, that cause karmic results. So make sure you've got those points written down in your table. Okay, I'm going to do another one. This next one is merit making is an obstacle on the path to nirvana. Discuss. So put the question in and put the table in. This is really from stuff we just looked at on the slide, so it's pretty straightforward, I think. So just pause it and then see what you can fill in, and then unpause. Okay, you can filled in the table. Let's go through. Reason to agree. Well, Spiro differentiates between karmatic and nirvanic Buddhism. This suggests the two are opposed. They're different to each other. Getting to nirvana involves getting rid of craving, but merit making involves craving. So it's true, if you're actually craving after merit, then maybe there is something wrong, but difficulty there with making merit, because it can lead to more craving and stop you getting to nirvana. However, really the idea that merit making is an obstacle path to nirvana is a Jain belief, not Buddhist. Getting to nirvana and making merit actually go together, because karmic merit comes from actions which go against the three poisons. And it is useful to have lots of merit if you want to get to nirvana. If you don't get to nirvana in this life, you need merit to get a good rebirth where you can keep following the path to nirvana. Okay, next one. For Buddhists, some good actions are more important than others. Discuss. So again, put that title in, agree and disagree, and then pause the video, see what reasons you could give to agree or disagree. Okay, should have unpaused. Let's go through. Giving to monks is better because it brings more merit. That's the main reason to agree. So you could be, giving to monks seems to be better than giving to like a random person who needs some food, because it brings more merit. To disagree. Well, no action's better than others because it is intention behind the action that counts. That's a very Buddhist point. You could say, well, actually, meditation is better than any merit making. Actually, that should be on the other side, shouldn't it? I've realised that two of my reasons on the disagree side should be on the agree. But I've done all this video now, so I'm not going to get a chance to change it. So just can you make sure that it goes on the other side? This should really go on the agree side. Meditation is better than merit making because it leads to nirvana rather than rebirth. So you could say, yes, some good actions are better, but not merit making activities, meditation. Again, this should go on the agree side. I can't believe I've done this. Chanting Namo Amida Butsu is better than any other action because it leads to the Pure Land. That should be on the agree side. So for a Pure Land Buddhist, they might say, well, look, merit making is all very well, but that's not what gets you to the Pure Land. And meditation is all very well, but we're living in the age of Mappo. We can't get to Nirvana right now. So they say there is one good action that's better than all other actions. That's chanting Namo Amida Butsu to get to the Pure Land. So yeah, can you make sure those second two, there should only be one on disagree and 3 on agree. Okay, I hope that made sense, guys. That's all for now.